been doing a lot of EVO2 on the channel. Obviously, it comes out this Friday, May 9th, at least the day of recording. But I want to touch on some OP11 deck lists, and that's including Arlong, which actually gets support in the new EVO2 set, but we're also getting support in OP11 that I definitely want to try out. The leader effect basically says times 2 Dawn when attacking, rest 1 Dawn. Play out a 4 cost or lower character with trigger from your hand. Similar to Blue Doflamingo in a way, except it's not from the top of your deck. You're losing resources in hand, but you're cheating out some very strong effects, including the yellow and green card pool that are Fishman Pirates or just very strong yellow cards. Arlong's an amazing aggro deck in the OP11 format, at least in my personal opinion. Just a fun strategy to go off meta at your locals. Not gonna win you a regionals or anything like that, but it's gonna be a very fun deck list that's pretty cheap for you to pick up, so I hope you enjoy this deck profile. OP11, we haven't touched this in a hot minute. I'm so excited to bring you this full deck profile of Arlong. We've already gone over the leader effect. Very simple, just playing out 4 cost or lower trigger type bodies, but we have some amazing targets, so we'll go through the targets for the leader effect first, being buggy. If you do not have a buggy type character, up to 1 of your leaders gains double attacks. We're swinging in for 7 double attack. Pretty strong stuff right there with the buggy. We have Kurabu, which basically just rests any character on the board on play. It's only 3,000 power, but it's a very strong effect, and it's Fishman Pirate type, so it is searchable in this deck profile. We have Hachan, which is a 4/4 with 2k counter that can also play itself. It's a trigger out of life that will play itself, so can sometimes win you a game with that. Usually you just want it as a searchable 2k for the deck list. We also have Arlong. You may discard 1 card from your hand up to 1 of your opponent's rested leaders or characters may not attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. So this card is just amazing. It takes away your opponent's full tempo because their leader just cannot swing, especially when we have other characters to lock down their board, which we'll go over, that don't have triggers but are very, very strong. We're also playing Arlong. It's a 7/7 that says if your leader is a Fishman Pirates type, you have 3 or less life cards in your life area, and your opponent has 5 or more rested cards. Very specific. This character gains -3 cost in your hand, meaning that it is a 4/7 we can cheat out with a 1k counter. Very awesome, and it has a trigger to rest 1 of your opponent's cost 4 lower characters. We have Jinbei, another searchable Fishman Pirates type character with a 2k counter, a 4/5, so this is actually more playable than the Hachan, but having searchable 2ks is very important in a deck list like this. We're running Kiki Nojo. If your opponent has 3 or less life cards, place the top card of your life on KO. Place the top card of your deck on the top of your life. So basically you get to gain life through Kiki Nojo, and you can cheat it out with the leader ability, and it's a 4/6 with no counter. Very strong card to have on the board, especially against black decks, including with this Basil Hawkins. It's very good into black decks. 4/5 that on KO trashes the top of your opponent's life. A little less valuable, but also more valuable at the same time. Basil Hawkins has a very good place in this deck, similar to Kiki Nojo. Just I don't know which one I like more, so comment which one you like more down below so I really know. We have Arlong here. This is one of the cards that I was talking about really works well with this Arlong. So this is a 3/4 that says if your leader is a Fishman Pirates or East Blue type, give up to 1 rested Dawn to your leader, then up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less cannot be rested until the end of your opponent's turn. So for 3 Dawn, we tap down 3, we get to put a Dawn on our leader, we add 1 more Dawn with our leader, so now we have, on a 5 Dawn turn, now we have 2 Dawn on our leader and 1 to rest for our leader effect, so we play this out, stop their blocker or character from attacking in the next turn or resting itself, doing whatever ability that it may rest itself, it cannot do. Searchers, nothing. And then we get to cheat out Arlong, stopping their leader attack, so now we stop 2 attacks on the board in a very, very important tempo swing for us because we get to develop 2 bodies on the board and swing in for 7. Very, very strong there. We also play this Jinbei, which is the OP11 card of choice, the one that we're playing, the most important one from OP11, and the only one from OP11 other than, this is from EVO2, so even Jinbei is not from there. This Jinbei is, though, if your leader is a Fishman Pirate type, rest up to 1 of your opponent's characters at a cost of 5 or less, and activate main once per turn if up to 1 of your Fishman or Merfolk type characters can attack characters on the turn they are played. So it gives pseudo rush into all of these characters. I mean, that's going to be very strong because there's so many bodies we can cheat out. I mean, technically on a 10 Dawn turn, we could cheat out Arlong and then play out Jinbei, or play out Jinbei and then cheat out Arlong and then give Arlong pseudo rush. There's just so many strong options in this deck with the Fishman Pirates type that I'm really happy are finally getting supports, although this does rotate out in April of next year. We have Kami, which is why everything's searchable. Look at the top 4, grab a Fishman or Merfolk type character, meaning Arlong, Hachan, Kurobu, Arlong, Jinbei. So many searchable targets, including the best green card in the world, Rush. On play, rest 2 of your opponent's Dawn or characters, then add the top card of your life to your hand. So it's an amazing aggro target that can really just finish games against purple, blockers, anything at all. It doesn't matter. Hody Jones is your guy. It's searchable, so we only run it as a 3 of because it doesn't have counter, but that's okay. Hody Jones is just that strong. You definitely need it in the deck. And to finish off the characters, we are running the 9/11 Shanks. Now, I probably shouldn't call them 911 Shanks. It sounds kind of bad. So 9 cost 11k Shanks. On play, kill up to one of your opponent's rested characters. It's simple. It clears the board. Sometimes you need some control. I don't know if running this as a 4-of is the best option, but it's a great option for removal in the OP11 meta specifically. Just thanks to Blue Purple Luffy having so many strong characters on the board, we can slowly remove those options, I guess, with Shanks. But personally, I think the aggro strategy works a lot better in that deck, so I'm not too sure why the Shanks is in here, but we'll figure it out for sure while we play today. And to finish off everything, of course we're a yellow deck, so you at least have to have one of these in the deck just for the off chance you hit it, or 2 in the deck to actually use its ability. You may trash 1 card from your hand up to one of your leaders or characters gain plus 3,000 for the turn. Okay, or for the battle. Okay, that's cool and all, but trigger, if you have 0 life cards, put the top card of your deck to your life, then trash 1 card from your hand. So genuinely, you can literally just win a game off of this, especially in a yellow deck. I mean, it just wins you games. That's the end of the story there. This card is just so strong. Sometimes you just don't lose because of it. So keep that in mind that we are running this, and we always need to just be saying, fingers crossed, hopefully we have it. That's going to be the deck profile for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this OP11 video. We've been doing so many EBO2 videos, so if you want EBO2, like, subscribe, join the Discord down below, and let's get into the games. For our first matchup here, we're going to be playing against Reiju. Obviously, Reiju is going to be very strong in the next format because it does get some awesome support, so I'm excited to see what that does. We usually want to take the first curve, and we will actually keep this hand. I actually really like this hand. We're gonna pass the turn. I know I sounded so like iffy on it, but I really like the Kiki Nojo here. So we'll be able to see out Kiki Nojo on the first turn, possibly Arlong on the second to lock down their leader. They play Sanji, grabbing Germa 66. They discard the Niji from hand to then draw into another Niji, a small Niji, very good Niji. We're gonna swing in for 7 at our opponent, using our leader effect as always. We're gonna cheat out the Kiki Nojo here. We don't play the Arlong because their leader has to be rested, so keep that in mind. We're not gonna worry about that. We get to cheat out a 4-cost body on 3 Dawn and swing in for 7 very aggressively, using our opponent's hand to be a lot larger, which personally I like in matchups like this when they're at low Dawn, because now they don't get as much effect from Reiju. So I really like that. They could play down that Niji. We did see them grab earlier. We're actually gonna take this aggressively here, and I don't even think we need to filter, but we're not gonna use the Basil Hawkins, so we might as well. We're gonna draw 2 and trash 1. We're gonna trash another Kiki Nojo. I don't think we're gonna need 2 of those on the board, especially if they play the Niji here and then bounce the Kiki Nojo back to hand. That's gonna be very strong by our opponent, but that's something we just have to deal with. So look at this. Now we're going to Arlong. You're gonna see the strength of this deck right now, because we don't need the Kiki Nojo anymore. We still have our double attack as active in case we need it for Buggy later. They grab a Reiju with the Sanji. That's gonna be a good searchable target, but still see they have a very large hand size here. So what we're gonna do is play down Arlong. We're gonna give our leader a Dawn, make sure Niji can't rest himself, so now this character can just not swing. We're gonna swing in for 7 here at our opponent, use the card action to play out that Arlong, so we're getting the full combo here for you guys. We're gonna discard the Kiki Nojo, locking down their leader from attacking now, so now both of these characters cannot attack on this next turn when they only go to 5 Dawn. They're gonna give us a 2k and a 1k, of course, because they had 5 cards in hand, easily countering out of that attack, which is good for us because we do have the Buggy, we have the Arlong, we have many options here on our next turn, so I'm definitely excited to see where we can take this. They play out Reiju to play out Reiju, of course, just to draw some additional cards, and we're looking to just take as much pressure off the board as we can, or add as much pressure to our opponent as we can. They use the Germa 66 state, discarding Niji, grab a Reiju, so they have another option to draw more cards. Granted, they are at 8 already, so that won't get them much value right now, so if they have to play around us having removal, then that's definitely not a good option for them to go ahead and play that out. So they may just swing 5 here with Sanji. It looks like no, they're just going to play out Chopper to gain it on as rested, and we're going to be able to swing in for 6, 7, and then play out a 4-cost, which is definitely not a bad option. We're going to play out a bunch of bodies on the board, but we keep our Arlong, which may not be bad. We'll go ahead and swing in for 6 at our opponent. We get our next Kiki Nojo, meaning we probably don't have one in life. Like, the odds of us having one in life are kind of very slim at this point. We're going to go ahead and swing in for 7 here at our opponent. We're not going to play the Buggy yet because it doesn't get that much value. And let's think if this will be able to play. Do they have 5 more rested cards? They do not. So, oh, actually the stage is rested. We can just cheat out Arlong here. We're cheating out the Arlong here just in case they have some kind of trigger. So they could be playing some kind of character to bottom deck a 4-cost or lower. That means they couldn't target our Arlong there, which was the biggest option, or the best option there for us. We're gonna play out Kiki Nojo and just pass to our opponent. They do have 3 swings on the board and possibly another if they play down Ichiji. Ichiji is just gonna be a rush option. That's a 7k body, costs 4 Dawn to play the small one. Dawn -1, play out the big one, get rush, and give a character -2000 power. Very strong. They grab another stage with the stage. That's not going to really do anything for them, so I guess they could tap 1 to stage again just to replace itself and then continue to go lower in hand size so that they can use the 2-cost Reiju we do know they have in hand. Very important to keep track of all these things, guys, so do your best. They drop a Judge at that stage to grab a Niji. This Niji is just going to be a 2k counter for their deck, so it's not as strong as this other Niji, but it's definitely good that they're playing both, because you're usually just running an only Vinsmoke family package other than the Chopper possibly. They still may be playing Porsche, but I really doubt it. It looks like they could go in for 5, 5, 6, and a Ichiji. So they should probably Ichiji first to give the minus 2,000 power to the Arlong, and then swing 5, and then we let that go. They're going to swing 6 into the character. We're actually going to give them a 1k here just to proc them to not swing our life. It's the same as us getting out of a lethal swing into face, because we are going to take very aggressively here on this next turn. They have 8 cards in hand. This is a difficult matchup for us because they are an aggro mid-range deck with a similar ability to us, just cheating out bodies for free basically. So really good stuff by our opponent so far. The Sanjis have been very brutal to us, just being able to find their consistency. 2 Germa stages. We kind of know part of their hand size being a Niji, a Reiju, and I think that's all we know at the moment, because we did see them already use the other stage. So we know 2 cards out of the 8 card hand that the Reiju has, because Reiju always has a very large hand size. It looks like they're really wanting to get this body off the board, and I think we just let it go at this point. We're going into 9 Dawn here. We can swing very proactively into our opponent's board or face. So we're just going to let this character go. We only have 1 more counter in hand, so it's not worth it. We could get triggers out of life. They only have up to 2 swings, so they could go 5 and then 5 with Sanji here. And we're not too stressed about that. I think what they were going to do is go another 6 at the character. Yep, it looks like another 6 here. We're going to go ahead and take that and choose no trigger here. It would be nice to have another body on the board, but we're about to fill out the board next turn anyways, and then play out another Chopper. That's what I was going to say for the 2 Dawn. So very strong by our opponent here. I think we're going to go more for clearing. We could go for clearing board here. I really don't know what's the best option here, so I think we're going to swing in a face because we're going to show some aggression. I think a sign of aggression here is going to be very important. They give us an Ichiji from hand, showing us they may not have a ton of counter, because that is a very, very good card. We don't have the way to Hoodie Jones and play out a character here, and we're not worried about using the leader effect this turn, so we're really looking into this Shanks right now. We're going to go and go 6 into face, get another card out of hand, and then probably a 7 into face. Just to continue, they should give us the blocker here. Yep. And then we're going to go ahead and play this, clear out one of the bodies, and then pass to our opponent. We're sitting on 4k counter. We still have a body active, which is very important. We have a 7k body that's rested, and a 6k that gives us a life. So that shows you the strength of this deck. The Shanks really takes off some of the power of our opponent, meaning they only have 4 swings, especially because they did already give us an Ichiji out of hand, either meaning they have another one, or they're not finding their Ichijis, right? So they could have the blocker Ichiji was what they could be running, which they did just see them grab the rush Ichiji. So that probably tells me they have another one of the 4 costs, or they have a Judge in hand, because Judge is going to be very strong here. If they do, you just swing in for 5, you swing in for 6, and then you play down Judge and then put on a lot of aggression. You have to clear out your board here because you do play out 1, 2, 3 little babies. So you need to swing at least one of these, because then you replace, play out the 3 children, and then play out more bodies from hand. You go back to like 4 Dawn, going into 6 on the next turn. Actually 5 Dawn going into 7, but it looks like they're going for the Ichiji instead, which is a very good option. I told you they did probably already have it in hand, giving us the 1 already, so we're definitely going to probably just let this go. I mean, we don't need the Arlong at this point. They go Dawn -1, they play out Gamma Knife, they're swinging 2 into 0. Yeah, you can definitely have that there, buddy. And then if they want to swing Kikinojo and give us another life, we're also alright with that, because we do have the Shanks. The Ichiji does have Rush. These are all things that are just running through my head as I play. I hope this helps you guys kind of think things through, because this is how you need to be thinking in the game, is what does my opponent have, what are they thinking, what's going on here, yada yada. So if we take this 5 and we don't counter out, they can go 7, 6, 7, which could put a lot of pressure and force us to go for game next turn, which is not highly probable in this kind of situation. So we do need to find a way to counter out. Well, we'll have to counter out of 2 swings, because they have 3 swings coming at us. So no matter what, we need to get out of a 5, 6, 7. Then we're hoping one of these is a 1k and not a trigger. So we do need to counter out of this swing, sadly, just to be safe here, because they could go in for another 5. We would let that, we would take that. And kind of call it a day there. We could also go for board cleanup here if they don't clear our Kikinojo. We also have the Hoodie Jones as an option, which is going to be very good. So now they could be going 7, 8 into face. And the issue with that is, again, we have to hope we don't need the trigger from one of these bodies to be on board to go for lethal. So we have to counter out of this, because we can't just take so aggressively. As much as I want to, we just can't. it just does not work for us, sadly. We do have some strong options here with Hody Jones resting down a blocker if they choose to play out a blocker, or Dawn if they choose to have a counter event. But then we can also cheat out the Buggy to get double attack. So there's a lot of strong options here. They go 8 in Kikinojo, giving us another life. We're actually okay with that because we can clear up this board pretty well on this next turn. And then they're going to swing 7 into face, giving us that life back. And now is here when we actually do use that trigger. So the trigger is going to be very strong to kind of help us clear our opponent's board. Our only goal here is to put Buggy on the board and keep our 2k counter. So we need to clear this at Chiji. We're gonna do that very easily here, I think, with an 11. Very good for us. We're gonna choose to go 7, 7, and then 8 if we need to. Yeah, I like that. We're just gonna go 7, 7, 8. We're gonna really go for clearing board here, sadly. We're really just starving our opponent out of resources. If they can counter out, they should. We're actually gonna go 8 into the, no, we're gonna go 7 again. I'm gonna force 2 2Ks out or force them to take that next life with the double attack here. So we're gonna definitely be going for that. We could even go 7 just to show a counter event, but we don't really have one. So we're gonna play out the Buggy here, get double attack. We should take them down to 1 life here and put on a lot of aggression, or they counter out and they have very minimal options. So they need to have some kind of rush here. They drop the Sora, so they can't grab another Ichiji. It kind of forced them to counter out. So they may have to discard a card for Germa Stage to grab an Ichiji, or just play down the Reiju they had the whole time, because obviously they did have that. They get to draw 3 cards now. They discard an Ichiji to search the top 3 cards of the deck. They're down to 16 cards total. They need to get an Ichiji on the board, because if they can tap 4 for that, they can go 6, 7, 7, which means they wouldn't have lethal, but they could go for clearing the board instead, which would put a little more pressure on us. We'd have to kind of Hody Jones next turn. They get to draw a ton of cards, which is very annoying. They have the Reiju in hand, which is a 2k counter, a 4/5. If your leader has Vinsmoke family type, look at the top 5 cards, reveal 1 Germa type character, and add it to your hand. Or 1 card with Germa, including Germa, add it to your hand. Very simple, just a top 5 searcher. It's similar to, ooh, they got it. They do have it. So let's think about this mathematically, how our opponent could play this. They could go -2 here, swing 8 into the character. That would be bad. They could go 2 into Arlong. They get that clear for free, basically. They only have 2 swings after that. So then they probably go 5 and then 7 if they want to clear it out. So I think we're going to have to let both of these go, sadly, because our opponent's going to kind of take the idea that we don't have 2k counters. They're going to go 6 into the Hachan. We're going to let that go, and then they're going to go 9, 7 into face, which we will take because we're going to use a trigger. We can use this trigger to rest the character and then really just go for clearing the board again. I'm wondering if we go for lethal or go for clearing the board here. I think that's going to be very important for us to decide. I think going for lethal is a very bad idea. They did leave 2 Dawn active, meaning they could have a slow beam. Slow beam would be very bad for us, so I think we're going to swing 11 first, just in case they do tap the 2 Dawn. They choose not to, which is very good for us, meaning they probably don't have a slow beam, so we need to worry about clearing the board here, in my personal opinion. I think we're going to go 9 into Reiju, just to clear it out. We're going to go, what, 4 into this guy, just because we can. I mean, technically we can go more. We'll go 5 into the Sanji here. I think this is just a good option in case they did have the ability to split next turn. It's really just being safe rather than sorry. We are going to swing in again. Again, if they just have an Ichiji, we kind of just lose, so we're going to have to just hope they don't. There wasn't really a good way to go for lethal there and to win the game, so that was really a difficult position for us to be in. I think we could have gone for lethal, but we only had 3 swings that were very strong, and they had no... Ooh, Judge. They grab a Judge off the top. This could be bad. If they played on the Judge, then they could only swing in for 6. We do have a 2k counter, and then they swing in for 7. 7 going in probably to the Buggy. That would be kind of fine with us, actually. I think we'd go for lethal at that point, or we'd have to go for lethal at that point. We would have the Hody Jones for the next turn, so we could swing in for, what, 7, 7, 8, 11, and rest the 2 Dawn, or I guess they wouldn't have any rested Dawn at that point if they played Judge. So Judge may be their only out, just hoping we don't have a 2k counter and then going for possibly clearing the board there. So they do go for the Judge. Dawn -1, discard a card, discard another card, play out a Chiji, play out a Niji, play out a Reiju. So Niji's going to bounce Kikinojo. Reiju's going to draw 2 additional cards. Ichiji's going to rush in and probably clear a body or go for life. This is a very difficult position to be in, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. There's things going on both sides. So they do bounce the Kikinojo. They do get rushed from this Ichiji. They can give -2,000 to the Buggy. They swing 5 into the Buggy more than likely. Or they probably swing 7 into Buggy, 5 into 3. And then we just can't go for lethal without rush. We do have Hody Jones, but Hody Jones is not guaranteed here because of how many cards they have in hand. We don't have a way to counter out of this. We don't have a way to counter out of the 7k swing either. So we're really in a bad position here. So they do go 8 and 4. We cannot get out of that either. So we're really counting our days here. We're counting our days. So what we could do is go for getting a lot of no counter here is kind of tough. Guys, this is a very good matchup. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this is a very good matchup. If we play this out, we kind of just lose. We have to go for game, in my opinion. So I guess we just swing in for 8. If they can get out of it, we just lose. Because if we clear this body, they have 3 swings and we have only 2k counter. There's not really an option unless our opponent just misplays, which is honestly our best bet possibly. Maybe we swing in for 5 at our opponent. Yeah, they had to counter out of that. We'll go 11 into our opponent. We're just going to hope for the misplay because there's no way we have lethal right now. If we do, I mean, not really much we can do. We're just going to hope for the misplay and pass. We leave 1 Dawn active to bluff possibly having something there. But yeah, no, at this point, as the Reiju player, you should just go for lethal. There was literally no way out of this, guys. GG's to the Reiju player. That was a hard-fought match. Very enjoyable match as well. I love Reiju as a leader. She's very strong. Very, very good leader. We get a Kami, and that doesn't do anything. I'll see you in the next game. And just so you know, in case you were wondering if they did have the counter, 1, 2, 2, 2. So they had a total of 9k counter. Yeah, we were not going to win that on the going for the Hody Jones. Green purple Luffy is going to be very important to beat in our current meta, so we're going to take first away to see what we can really do. This is a deck you definitely need to beat. We do have the Arlong combo here. Does that do a lot? Sanji Pudding, as long as they don't add extra cost, and stopping the leader attack is going to be very strong. I think we're going to keep this hand, going Kiki Nojo first, of course, passing on the 1 Dawn. I think this is going to be a very good hand to utilize against Monkey D. Luffy. Now, if they get to add additional cost to their characters, the Arlong will not hit it, because this is not original cost of 5, which I wish it was, but of course that would be a little too broken. We're just going to swing in for 7 aggressively. They should take, this leader does usually take a little aggressively first, maybe down to 3, like usually you just take the first life. As this leader, I think that's the best position to be in. Just finding more options in hand, I think is going to be very good. They're going to 4 here. They could rest down our Kiki Nojo, return 2 Dawn, do all that, but I don't think it's worth it in this position because you're only restanding 2 Dawn, swinging 7 into Kiki Nojo. Don't think that's really worth it. So they do get the Going Merry stage. That is the stage we were hoping they didn't have, just to let you know. So they swing 5 into us. We're actually going to take very aggressively and then choose no trigger because we're going to play down this Arlong on this next turn, giving our leader arrested Dawn. So we're going to swing in for 6 first, just in case they get some kind of trigger out of life and they choose not to counter. They should counter this though out of hand. They do give us the Sanji. Very good stuff by our opponent. We're going to go and do this, put arrested Dawn on our leader and stop the Zoro from swinging so they can't ramp up. And then we're going to use the leader effect here to play out the Arlong. We're going to discard a Arlong and then stop the leader from attacking. So we stop a lot of the aggression that our opponent would have on this next turn. We do also have the Hody Jones. They may counter out of this one. I presume they're going to take. Yeah. So they do take aggressively, which is what this deck should do. We have a bunch of swings coming in next turn, so good job by our opponent taking there. That was a very good choice. They now can tap 5 for the Sanji Pudding, -2, go to 4, and then play a 4 cost that rests down the Arlong and then swings in at the Arlong being Zoro. So there's some strong options here for our opponent. We stop the Zoro Juro, which is really good. We're also going into 7 Dawn, so we could capitalize on the Hody Jones on this next turn. They do stop our ability to stop the Sanji Pudding because it's a 5/7, 7/7 now. So very cool stuff. They are a 6k leader. We have to keep that in mind as we do swing in. They played on a Nami to search the top 5 cards of the deck for a Straw Hat Crew type character, grabbing a Frenosuke, so a 2k counter that can also have Rush. Normally it's just going to be a 2k counter, guys, especially with how we're swinging in. They put the Chopper down. Chopper is definitely going to be utilized this turn by our opponent, which we could mitigate here with the Hody Jones. Am I against actually doing that? So a fun thing we can do is actually leave this Chopper on the board, stopping their leader ability. So that's, we can rest it down, forcing them to have to not have their leader ability basically next turn. So we're going to try that out. I think that could be a fun little option here. Resting down these 2 characters, we're going to actually leave that Tony Chopper, and then we're going to swing actively into the Zoro Juro. Very, very cool stuff here. Our opponent probably doesn't expect something like that, so I'm excited to see how that does in the long run. It's just a fun little tech idea, okay, guys? This one's not as serious because that was a stupid idea. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Not the most brightest idea. They rest down the Hody Jones off the Electrical Luna trigger. What can you do about it? GG's to our opponent. We left Tony Chopper specifically for this purpose. They cannot leader effect. They cannot become a 6k leader. We do only have 2k counter in hand. That's something we have to keep in mind. We do have double attack and another Hody Jones, so I guess that's cool because we could rest down their Dawn or something like that, but we chose to leave that Chopper perfect. Okay, to explain why we left the Chopper, this says if you have only Straw Hat Crew type characters on the board, return 2 Dawn, set 2 Dawn as active, this leader becomes a 6k leader. This is not a Straw Hat type character. So now you cannot leader effect here. We're actually going to let this go, gain a life. That's going to be pretty simple for us there. Sorry, just to let that in. But now they cannot leader effect. If they do Dawn -2, they get no effect out of it. So that's going to be very, very good for us. They play on Zoro Zoro. Looking at the top 5 cards, are grabbing a Straw Hat Crew, Uso Hachi, just getting more counter in hand, and they're able to rest a 5 cost or lower character if they have 8 or more Dawn, which they definitely do. It was kind of cool there. We got to stop everything that the opponent was trying to do there, which is kind of cool. We may counter out of this swing, but if we give up 2 1Ks, we're giving them a lot of info, but I'm actually not against it here. So we are going to counter out very aggressively just because this is a 6K on a 6K leader possibly, and they're not going to have anything to do. Like they just don't have anything to do. We gained a life back, so on 7 Dawn, we can tap down 2 characters here, and then, or we can actually just tap down the blocker and the Dawn, so now they have no extra Dawn. We're just going to swing in very aggressively here. Just forcing cards out of hand. We should have probably gone 7 there, to be honest with you. But we're going to go, I guess, 5. I think we're just going to go 5-5. We're just going to get every card out of hand. We know they have a Gum Gum Giant. They did search up a Gum Gum Giant earlier, so they may potentially be bricked up. We're just going to swing in for, what, 9 and 9 at this point because of what they just did. If they get out of the 9, we'll go in for another 9. It should be GG's. Leaving this chopper on the board was very strong there. This is a deck that very, very easily bricks up. They didn't have the Gum Gum Giant. Hody Jones just answers what we needed it to, so definitely keep that in mind. When you're playing against this leader, if they have the chopper, a lot of deck builds don't have the chopper, but a lot of good players do, and a lot of good players know how to play around the chopper. I kind of feel kind of happy about pulling that off. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think that was going to work. A lot of people's worst matchup is our best matchup. We're going to take first away from our opponent here, and we're going to be very aggro here. We're going to move this cat to the floor because he's all up in my beeswax. And then we're going to we're going to keep this hand. We have the Kami to search out the deck. We can use Hody Jones later in the deck. We're also going to take this Jinbei because Jinbei can rest down a character on play, but also has the activate main to give pseudo rush to other characters when we choose to play them down later. So we're going to choose to take Jinbei. I like Jinbei here as a card. We're going to pass turn, and we're going to cheat out Buggy on the first turn. I think we're going to go with Buggy just because it's just that strong. We won't go to use. Ooh, putting down this Kami was very strong because we can remove this Luffy for free basically, which is going to be very good. Now they could just 2K counter out, which would low key be smart because then they get out of a 7 and another swing. But we'll have to choose. We'll have to choose after we decide what to do. And we're going to go ahead and go 7 at face and get double attack. May be smart, may not be. They did not get rid of our leader effect or our on-play effect, so we do get double attack here. They get 8 cards in hand. We're going to pass the turn. No finger gun triggers in this house. Marshall D teach. We have a pretty good matchup into this because we're basically just spitting out bodies like crazy, and that's kind of the goal of this deck. So we do get, what, finger gunned? Yep, finger gunned. The card we mentioned, you shouldn't mention. It's like a crap stable. You don't mention the number 7, so probably shouldn't have, but hey, we did. So what can you do? We're going to choose to swing in aggressively. We could go for Arlong here to get a 7/7 on the board. We could get Kiki Nojo so they can't just finger gun that one. We don't have a great option here. We are going to swing in for 9 and cheat out a body. We're just trying to decide which body. I think we're going to go with Arlong. We don't have 3 or less life. We're going to go with Kiki Nojo. Nice. Kiki Nojo is going to be a good card, not the best card. Basil Hawkins would probably be better for pressure, just because if you remove Basil Hawkins, they lose a life. They don't really care about giving us more life because they want to play the late game anyways. They do find their stage here. Hachinosu trashing a card from hand. Look at the top 3 and grab them a Blackbeard Pirates type card. So they get to grab basically whatever they want from the top 3, helping them filter through the deck every single turn. They choose to grab a Van Augur. Van Augur is going to give -3 to a character and rest itself on KO, draw 1 card. A very strong option. They choose to discard that for the leader effect. They swing in for 5 at us. We're going to take aggressively here and choose no effect because Arlong just ain't gonna do too much. They chose to black hole us. They did black hole us actually. Okay, I was about to be very, very hype, but now I'm a little sad. So we're gonna choose to swing in for 7. So we're gonna go 6 first. This is a blocker, and then on play trash 2 cards from your hand, but it does not get on play because of the leader effect here. So we're gonna choose to swing in for 6 first, just in case they get some kind of trigger. They should counter out. In my personal opinion, that's going to be the best option for our opponent, but they really, really are behind. So, of course, we are not going to probably Arlong. We're probably going to go more for like a, I don't know. We'll swing in for 7. We're going to cheat out Arlong just in case they get some kind of trigger from life. They can only pop the Kiki Nojo, and that's good that they didn't. So we'll definitely take that. I think we're going to go for the Arlong just because it's a 4/6, and we would rather keep the counter in hand just in case. So then we're just going to pass to our opponent here. No other effects needed. We are sitting on a solid 4K counter. We also have the Jinbei here. If they choose to swing very proactively, they use Hachinosu, discard Hachinosu, and grab a Doc Q. Doc Q being able to KO a 1-cost character and on KO draw a card. So they still have the Caribou blocker blocker. The Jesus Burgess is up to a 7k swing, and they're sitting at a nice little 8 Dawn. So if we can continue to span the board and put out some big bodies, we should be big chillin'. Discard the Marshall D Teach to black hole us in case we get some kind of trigger out of life here. And I think we're going to take again, very aggressively, spin out a body on the board because that's what we're looking to do. And if they want to swing 7 into our Kikinojo, we'll just counter out pretty easily here. They should go 7 into face, in which we will... we're just going to take it again. Hey, we get a Hody Jones. That's pretty good. So we could Hody Jones secondly on the next turn if they choose not to use their leader effect. They use Kuzan to play out Van Augur. Van Augur will give -3 to Arlong. They'll tap 2 for Dog Q, KO Arlong. Very good stuff. And then play down another blocker. Now they did Black Hole us, so we have to keep that in mind. We could just go for clearing up the board here and be pretty safe about it. We could also give Jinbei Pseudo Rush. We could play out this and then also cheat out the Arlong here. So that's probably what we're going to do. But we're going to choose to swing at the board first. We're going to swing... Actually, we're going to swing into face first. I think that's going to be the best option here. They only have 2 blockers. And if we see them take this, we may go a little more aggressive. Now I don't know what to do. We're going to swing in for 6. We're going to kind of vibe check them. What you got for me? What you got, Doc? We're going to swing in for 6, say what you got for me. They're going to counter out. We're getting all the cards out of hand. This is a 2k counter. We didn't even know that. So then we're just going to play down Jinbei and then give himself some Pseudo Rush. And then we're going to swing in for 8 at Van Augur. He's going to block out with the Caribou. He's going to block it. So maybe we should have done this first. But hey, it is what it is. I'm actually fine with them clearing up the board. So they're going to have to go for lethal on this next turn. We need to keep that in mind. So we're going to play out a character that does not have counter. Because now we're going to go 7 into Van Augur, and we're going to cheat out a Arlong here, just because we want to keep some counter in hand. We are sitting on only, what, 2, 3, 4, 5k counter. They're going to be on 10 Dawn and split it between their characters. They have 14 in trash, so they can discard the 2 cards to make this a 9k. So they have 5, 6, 9 between 10. That's going to be 8, 9, 10, 11. So we need to be able to get out of 2 of those swings. So we may just lose here, guys. We may genuinely just lose because of my misplays. I think we misplayed right there at the end, but it depends on if our opponent really sees the time and the stuff that they need to. They choose just to go and discard this, yep, bump up that Burgess, just like we talked about. Now he's going to be a 9k swing, so they can swing in for 9 and then swing in for 16 and probably go for game there. If we counter out aggressively, they can just swing in for 7. They're going to swing in for 7 here. We're going to go ahead and counter out pretty easily here. And then we're going to be sitting on 2k counter, so what they should do is just swing in for 11 and then, 7 on the leader. So 7 on the leader would be 12, so 11, 12. We would need all 2Ks in hand to really have that go through. Now swinging in for 9 is actually incorrect, to give you my honest opinion. Maybe not, because you could just swing in for 5 and then go 9 on Doc Q. So I guess either way this math technically works. We get a Jinbei out of life. We lose because of it, because we get a Jinbei out of life. We played a little too aggro there. That's just my honest personal play mistakes there, because I was just kind of messing around, just spitting out bodies on the board. But there was definitely some misplays where we were a little too aggressive, probably not clearing out this board earlier, going into face with the basically that last turn with the Arlong. We should put more pressure on the bodies to kind of clear out the board, so we couldn't have gone for lethal there. That would have been the best option, forcing out the blockers early and then swinging heavy into the bodies rather than developing the board. That would have been the only position that I think could have put us in a winning position there. But hey, that's just a theory, a game theory. Let's go into the next game. Yellow Purple Pudding. Hey, this is a good deck in EVO2 and I'm not EVO2 in OP11, thanks to all the support. I think we're gonna mulligan that hand because we just don't have much of anything. This hand we have a much of everything, so definitely like that. This is gonna look at the top 5 cards. Grab a cost 2 or higher Big Mom Pirates type character. Grabbing a 10 drop Lin Lin as you should. We're gonna pass on 2. They get their perfect ramp here. They're gonna probably swing in for 5. Tap 3 to play something out, something like that. Maybe they swing in for 8. Maybe they search the top 5 cards for an Animal Kingdom Pirates or Big Mom Pirates type character, getting a lot of awesome cards in this deck. This deck is very, very strong in the current format in OP11, or not very, but it's very strong. It's pretty strong. I can't keep saying very and then saying it's not very and then saying it's kind of very, but 7 at us, we're going to go ahead and take aggressively and get this Kikinojo trigger. Yeah, we're going to choose not to do that. That's not worth it. They do have a 0 cost at the top. That's not too bad. Not too worried about it. We don't really have to worry about putting resting herself here, so we may just swing in for 8 at our opponent. Choosing to play out the Arlong, go ahead and stop a little bit of aggression here. They're going to take, because then they get to put this at the bottom and then try to swing in, but we're going to stop that swinging in to stop their aggression. So cheating out Arlong, we're going to discard a card. We're going to discard one of the other Arlongs, and then we're going to stop the leader from attacking. So now they cannot ramp as proactively, which is very good for us. That was literally the main goal. They can tap 6 here for the 6 cost Katakuri. That's going to flip this down, and then ramp 1 is active, but they cannot swing in at us, so it takes off a little aggression and stops them from ramping into 10 Dawn on the next turn, meaning they're only going to 9, meaning they're going to be playing down a Katakuri. Katakuri? I don't like that. I don't like that at all. What we could do here is stops the blocker, right? So we're gonna stop the blocker. We're gonna give a Dawn to our leader, stop the blocker, swing in for 6 at our opponent. Not that they were gonna really use the blocker anyways right now, but fun fact, we could have also done Caribou, rested this, and then swung in at that, but that wasn't really worth it. We're gonna swing in for a bunch. We're gonna use our effect. We're gonna cheat out this is hard to say, because they're about to play an 8-drop Katakuri, and we know that. So if they play the one that gets rid of the Arlong, that would be kind of miserable. We wouldn't really get much out of it. They put the Basil Hawkins in life, so that's kind of okay. Ooh, let's go with the Arlong. I don't think we need the Basil Hawkins trigger. We have a very strong hand. It doesn't have as much counter as I'd like, but I think forcing them to go ahead and play that Katakuri to get rid of the Arlong is good with me. They will take that. They do get to keep the blocker on the board. It cannot rest itself, which is also okay for us. They should swing in 8 at the Arlong here and then 5 at our life. We'll take the 5, we'll let the 8 go, and then they'll play a Katakuri, putting a card in our life. So only 7, we also have to just let that go, sadly, because I don't want to give them 2 1Ks and give them the information there. Now they should just honestly have that information, assuming we don't have 2K counters. They could flip their top 2 life to ramp 1, but they don't need to give us that information, so they definitely don't. Basil Hawkins, we'll use that trigger, draw 2, and trash 1. We're going into 8 Dawn here, so I think we're going to go ahead and trash the Shanks. I think it's going to be a little too late for the Shanks for us. We don't really play blockers. We need to just go straight face right now. We play the Katakuri blocker. Very good stuff right there. Stands up all of their characters as active, basically. So kind of just gets rid of our whole thing, our whole effect, like what we do. They can block out, they can 7, block, 8, just block for free, so we need to swing kind of heavy, or we need to give Jinbei Pseudo Rush, but Pseudo Rush is not as strong in a deck that, you know, gets to restand their Big Mom Pirate type characters and ramp on and do all that jazz, so we need to keep a face that shows we are safe. We do have the Hody Jones to finish the game, so I think we just need to keep putting pressure on face. We're going to swing in for 7, they should probably just take the free block. That's at least what I would assume, because now if we swing heavy, they just use the Anama, yep, that card. So now we can swing in for 5 with Arlong, tap 3 here, and then go 4 for another 4-cost character. But I think I'd rather just swing heavy here and go for game on the next turn. I think that's going to be the best option, because they are going to burn our life, and we need to stay safe from the 7-8K swing. 7-8-5, we need to be able to get all of that, out of all of that. So we're going to swing in for 7. Yeah, let's go 7 first. This should get 2 cards out of hand, and then we'll get the blocker on the next swing. That's going to be the best option for us personally, but at least it's going to go ahead and get the counter. If they choose to go ahead and do that, okay, that's cool. We're going to swing in for 9. We're going to cheat out the Kiki Nojo just to get a body on the board. We do have the Caribou, which we could have obviously played out, rested down the blocker, just swung 4 into the blocker, developing a little body, but that's not too important in this situation. And then pass. So we need to be able to get it up a 5, a 7, and an 8, and right now we cannot do that. So we have to let this go, just because of the strength of their board. They are going to 10 drop, get rid of one of our life. That's going to be kind of miserable. If they're going to go, 7 and then 8 into it, we can get out of both of those, so we will. We kind of have to at this position, so we definitely will, because we're going to Hody Jones on this next turn. They do have 8 cards in hand, which is kind of miserable. We're going to go 2 1Ks here, and then Hody Jones on this next turn, because we kind of have to. They're going to 10 drop, gain in life, get rid of one of our life. That's really, really bad, so we kind of just have to either go for game and hope, but I think we just have to at this point. Due to the position we are in, this is literally all we have. So we'll rest down the 10 land just for fun. We're going to go 7 at face. We're going to go 7 at face. We're going to go 9 at face, and we need 2 of these to hit, by the way. So just keep that in mind, that we are literally just hoping these 3 all have to hit. If they can counter out of this, we genuinely just lose. There's not much we can do. So it is what it is. We're going to go another 7 into face, and then 8. And they should be able to get out of 8 pretty easily, so you should just take this one, or counter out of this one and get out of the next one. Yep. It is what it is. We're going to swing in for 8. We did know they had the 0-cost event from earlier. We pass turn, and we lose. Kind of not much we could do there, but hey, GG's to our opponent. We'll show them we only had a 2K counter. Not much we could do. They were still sitting on a ton of counter in hand, so they were very safe. Again, not too much we could do against a ramp-heavy deck, but that's kind of what this aggro deck is. It's either you win in 5 turns or you lose. So, hey, let's do one more and see if we can win it, go on a winning streak. And Blue-Purple Luffy is the best deck for us to go against to get that winning streak. We're going to mulligan that hand because 3 Arlongs is a little too much. 2 Shanks may be a little too much, but we're going to find out in this matchup if it is. We have Basil Hawkins for our first swing. That's going to be good for when we finally draw into something. Hopefully, we just pass on the first turn, not really doing much. They are a 3-life leader. We need to put on the aggression early, so we're going to swing in for 7. They're going to give us a 2K counter out of hand, more than likely, and we're going to cheat out a body on the board. They are a 6K leader again, so keep that in mind as we continue this game. They will have Arlong. Will we have Arlong active? Possibly if they swing in a face. They use gear 2, tap 1 Dawn, and then get plus 3,000 for the battle. very good to go and use that just so they don't have to leave up counter early in the game. They're gonna swing 7 at us. We're gonna go and take that, use the trigger, get the Kiki Nojo on the board. The goal is aggression. Aggression's gonna be very good. We get to kind of just swing in. Looks like that's about all we're gonna do here. We're gonna swing in for 6. We don't have a way to really get rid of Zoro here. So we're gonna swing in for 6, 7, 7. We're really just looking to force out 2Ks from hand. That's going to be very important in this matchup because sometimes they just don't find the 2Ks they need. We're going to swing in for 7, and we're going to use this to cheat out a... Can we go for the Arlong? No, they don't have enough rested cards, so we're going to have to do the Kiki Nojo here. I just looked at it because they only have 4 rested cards, so technically it wouldn't work. They're sitting on 1 life already. That's going to be the most important thing in this matchup. We're going into 7 Dawn. We could go Arlong. We could go Hoodie Jones. We definitely cannot Shanks yet, but our opponent's going into 7 Dawn. That's okay with us. They're going to ramp a little bit, a tiny bit, and then swing in for 6 into Kiki Nojo. We will give them a 1K counter, I believe. Yeah, let's give them a 1K. I want to keep this character on the board. They have 7 to tap. They could go Sanji. They instead they go Gravity Blade. I'm really glad we countered out of that one. They get both the Kiki Nojos off the board. And we're just going to swing 5 into Zoro. And then we're going to go for straight into face. Hoodie Jones is really our only option there. That's the only sucky part. They go ahead and take that life. They go down to 0. They ramp into 9 here. So they don't get their later effect because you have to ramp, you know. You have to already be at 8 Dawn, so our goal is to just beat them before they get there. We're going to take this, get another trigger out of life, because that's what we do. And they play down the Katakuri. Katakuri is going to be very good for our opponent here, but what we're going to do is actually just swing in for 5. We're going to swing in for 6, and then 8. We're really trying to get them to put this sideways. I know that's crazy, but hey. I really just want to see them put this Katakuri sideways. That's kind of my goal. They choose not to, so we're going to play down, I guess we're going to do it anyways. I try to get them. I tried to bait them in so hard and it didn't work. Okay, guys, I'm just gonna be honest. This is a fun deck. This isn't a, I'm gonna try to win this and do everything I can. They get to reveal a Nami from the top of the life or top of the deck, choose what they draw into, and then stack it how they need it. So they can 9-cost Sanji into another Katakuri, basically just getting a very, very strong board. Our goal is to remove this board as much as possible and continue to apply pressure. We don't have the Hoodie Jones anymore because we did play it a little early. We will have the 2K counter out of this just in case they have some form of rush in this deck, which they definitely do. So we're going to take this, we're going to choose no trigger, and then we're going to be sitting on a solid little amount to counter here and lose the game. Hey, GG's to our opponent. Again, misplaying for fun. We don't go on that winning streak we were looking for because this deck does brick up a little bit, but hey, it was a lot of fun. They could have 9-cost Sanji into a 9-land, gained a life back. I think that was probably the better play, to be honest, because seeing us have to take that 8, maybe they just went, hey, you got it or you don't, and that was probably pretty smart. So hey, GG's guys, this was a fun video. It wasn't a competitive video or anything like that. I hope you understand this was literally just for fun. We were just messing around today. I wanted to make some content. I didn't have too much to do. I'm kind of running out of deck profiles, so please comment a deck profile down below that you want to see, or leave it in the Discord to test my deck. We can do more of that. We can do really whatever you guys want. I just need to know what you want, what decks you want to see, what you want me to build, what you want me to work with, you know, maybe some ideas, some fun ideas, some goofy ideas, some strong ideas, some competitive ideas. Just drop them down below. I'll see you in the next one. I love you. Peace.